fasting. Just stick to butter. We need to get back to eating more butter. Eat more butter. Hey everyone, I'm Fast Willie. Welcome to my channel where I talk about fasting, weight loss, and the foods that I eat when I'm not fasting. Today I have a special video for you about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Butter. I am going to be tasting 10 different brands of butter. I have no butter tasting experience. I'm just going to go for it and let you know what I think of them. I also want to take this opportunity to tell you that I am going to be switching my fasting protocol. Currently I'm doing 81-hour fasts and then eating in a 15-hour window. I'm going to switch to an alternate day fasting with an eating window of about 8 hours, and I'm going to be doing keto while I'm in my eating window. So I'm going to be cutting out all of the carbs, and I'm going to do this for a month just to give it a try, just to challenge myself. You know, I've been doing the 81-hour fast for 2 months straight now, back to back. Just switch it up and see if I can challenge myself. I'm also going to be trying to do keto as minimally processed as possible. So I'll be trying to focus on eating animal products and meat and dairy and low carb vegetables as much as possible. If you're on keto, butter is one of your best friends. You use it for your cooking, you put it in your coffee. So I figured it would be a great time to do a butter review and see which ones I like. Now I have a few here that are ones that are staples in my kitchen, and then there are some that I know that others like that I don't necessarily like, and then I have a few brands I've never tried before. So I'm going to get started with what I think is the measuring stick of butters, and that is Land O'Lakes. It seems like this is just the butter. This is the butter that I grew up with. My mom always kept this in the refrigerator. We always had butter in our fridge, not margarine. And I asked on Instagram recently, did you grow up with butter or margarine? And it was, I think right now the results are like 60% butter, 40% margarine, which is very interesting to me. We never had margarine growing up, but like we had it in our school cafeteria. We didn't have butter. I think that's probably pretty similar to most people around my age. So I'm gonna eat about that much of it, or just take a little taste off of it. We'll see. So yeah, to me, this is like what butter tastes like. I'm gonna keep this one next to me. I'm gonna keep this one next to me, and then if I need to go back to the measuring stick, I can take a little taste of this and compare it to the one that I'm trying. But, you know, this is just like, you know, this is like the water of butters. It's just like the standard. Everything else that you would drink, you would compare to water, I guess. I like it. I like Land O'Lakes butter. Also, you can taste the salt in it. All of the butters that I'm going to be trying today are salted butters. And you know, I like Land O'Lakes. Okay, so next I'm going to try this Minerva Dairy salted Amish butter, which we got in we get a farm share every 2 weeks, or a CSA, and you can click an option for them to give you butter, and so we wanted to try this and they sent it to us. I have not tried this yet, so this is what it looks like. It seems like it's a little bit darker in color than the Land O'Lakes. And I watched another YouTube video yesterday about like a butter expert tries different butters, and he kind of gives explanations of why butters would have different colors and different flavors, and I'll link that video below because it was pretty interesting. So I would do a bad job explaining what he taught me, but I'll link it below, so if you're interested in learning more about butter after this, you can go over there and check it out. Alright, so this is Minerva Dairy sea salt butter. Alright, so it's got, it's less salty. It's maybe like a little bit more creamy. In my opinion, maybe it's because what I'm used to, but I don't think this tastes as good just straight as the Land O'Lakes. In the guy's video that I watched yesterday, he said that the cost of butter can be based on how much cream. I think in America you have to have 80%. You have to have 80% milk from the fat for it to be considered butter. So I think that one might have more cream, but I think that the taste just like isn't necessarily as good, to me at least. Simply Nature organic salted butter. This is from Aldi, and I went there to get another butter that I know people like, and I saw that they had this, so I figured I would give this a try. Again, it looks like this color is a little bit darker. People watching this are gonna be like, stop eating butter straight, it's got too much saturated fat and it's gonna kill you. That's just like a myth that's been completely debunked in the last few years. Here is the organic, Simply Nature organic salted butter. I actually like this one. Yeah, I think this one is just as good as the Land O'Lakes. I'm surprised. I know people love Aldi. It's not somewhere that I shop at a lot. But I think if I'm there, and if you like to eat organic, this is an organic. This is, I think, maybe the only organic that I'm eating, and it's good. But don't worry about the saturated fat in butter. That's not what's going to kill you. Also, I'm not a dietitian, so seek medical advice from a professional before you only eat butter. I wouldn't suggest only eating butter, but I don't think cutting out butter is necessary. What you should avoid is this stuff in the tubs that are not butter. You know, maybe if you're vegan, you're not gonna have butter. I don't know what the best option is, to be honest. I've never done that research, but things like this was $1.29 at Aldi, and it is water, soybean oil, palm kernel oil, palm oil, and this one here is the expensive version of it that I got at the fresh market, and it is vegetable oil, which is a vegetable oil blend, palm, canola, soybean, flax, and olive oils, olive being the last one listed. Both heavily vegetable oil, which is a lot of times canola oil, or also a lot of times palm oil. Both not great options, either for you or for the environment. If you have a second, pause this video, go to Google and Google what is palm oil doing to our environment. You will be disgusted. And I know cows and the environment, I get it, but like an immediate impact on the environment, like palm oil, is just completely devastating our rainforests. Like this is not food. It was designed by scientists, like not even for food applications, and then they realized they could feed it to humans and we wouldn't die immediately. But margarine and other products like this, not a good option. Just stick to butter. We need to get back to eating more butter. Eat more butter. Don't eat this crap. Please, don't eat this crap. Just eat butter. It's good for you. Now I am going to move on to the next section where I have 4 grass-fed butters. I asked on Instagram recently what is everybody's favorite brand of butter, and the overwhelming majority, like way more than 50% of people who responded, said Kerrygold. And I think that one reason for that is a lot of people in the fasting community are either in keto or like know the benefits of keto or have done keto, and Kerrygold is like the gold standard for keto coffee or bulletproof coffee. This is salted. I'm doing all salted today, but normally you would get the silver pack and do unsalted butter. All right, and here's the thing. You know how some people say that cilantro tastes like a bar of soap? If you don't believe me, Google that. That's a thing. Some people say that cilantro tastes like bubble baths or a bar of soap, and so I did some research on that, because the way that people feel about cilantro is the way that I taste about grass-fed beef and butter. I think that it has this, it's not bubble bath for me. It's like a, it just has like a weird funk to it that I don't necessarily like, and I would love to. I like to eat, you know, I try to eat as healthy as possible and from like the best sources possible, and I really believe that eating grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter is better for you. I just don't like the taste of it that much, but I'm gonna give these 4 a try and let you know what I think. After Googling the cilantro bubble bath thing, it is a thing that has to do with genetics, and about 10% of people have this gene where they don't like the aldehydes in cilantro. Well, there's also aldehydes in, you know, animal products, in beef, and so it's possible, maybe someday soon I can take some kind of test or something, but it's possible that I could have a gene that just like does not like the aldehydes in grass-fed beef and butter. Who knows? Just like I started with the Land O'Lakes last time, I'm going to start with what is the measuring stick for the grass-fed butters, which is the Kerrygold. This is actually amazing. There it is. At first I was not picking up on that grass-fed taste that I was talking about. I did get it a little bit at the end, but not enough that I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat this. It's pretty good. It's definitely much creamier than the ones that I tasted before. And one reason for that is, as I said, in the United States, you need 80% milk fat for it to be considered butter. In Europe, you need it to be 82%. And I guess that 2% is a big difference. I don't know, I'm not a butter expert, but it seems like it. Also, I had a response from my poll from one of my viewers in Switzerland who said that Kerrygold butter is a chocolate chip cookie game changer. I've never tried it, but if you're interested in trying Kerrygold, I would give that a try in your chocolate chip cookies. Alright, so I'm going to try this Oasis organic salted butter, grass-fed. Oasis 100% grass-fed organic butter. And this is another butter that came in our farm share, so I'm going to give this a try. Here's this one compared to the Kerrygold. They're pretty close in color. Alright. This doesn't have a lot of salt in it. It has a little bit more of the grass-fed flavor. It's not quite as creamy. I would just say overall not as good of a butter as the Kerrygold. Compared to everything else that I've tried so far, I would say this is my least favorite. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, but just not necessarily my favorite. Alright, so this is what I originally had gone to Aldi for. This is their version of the Kerrygold, also made in Ireland, like the Kerrygold is. So I'm going to give this a try, compare it to the Kerrygold. It is pure Irish butter made with milk from grass-fed cows. Countryside Creamery. Here's what the bar looks like. Again, these are pretty similar. Grass-fed butters are going to be a little bit darker because of the carotenoids, I believe. The cows aren't able to process the carotenoids. They don't use it for anything, so it just ends up as byproducts in their milk. This one's interesting. I'm not getting any grass-fed taste. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it later. That's really good. So far, both of the butters that I got at Aldi have surprised me. I'm going to taste the Kerrygold again to kind of compare them. Back to this one. They're really similar. The Kerrygold is probably better, but I think I paid $3.50 for the Kerrygold, and I paid $2.50 or $2.70 for the Countryside Creamery at Aldi. And I think that they're pretty similar. If I didn't have to pay money for them and I could just pick which one's better, it would be the Kerrygold. But I think that this is a very good substitute for it for a little bit cheaper. All right, and lastly, for grass-fed, we have this from Trader Joe's New Zealand salted butter, made with milk from grass-fed cows. This is one that I didn't know existed. I went to Trader Joe's to get their cultured butter, and I saw this and said, oh, I'll add this to the video. All right. This one is maybe a tiny bit darker, and it also looks like it's more of has like a matte finish to it, whereas the Kerrygold's a little bit shinier. This one's really interesting, really good. It has like a completely different flavor from all of the rest of the butters that I've tried. And compare it to the Kerrygold. Again, interesting and really good, but no, actually, I think this is better than the Kerrygold. They're again pretty similar. I think this one is better. But Kerrygold is no loser here. I have stayed away from Kerrygold. I've tried it a little bit in the past, but I don't necessarily like grass-fed flavor. But today, that's pretty good actually. And a taste test. All right. Last, I'm gonna go into European style butters that, not the first ones were more just like traditional butters. Then I went into grass-fed. These are, there are a couple of imported ones, and then ones that are like extra creamy European style. So this is what's currently in my butter dish. President butter. It is a product of France. I got this at an international food market near my house. It's a little bit pricey, but not like out of this world. It's maybe like $6 for the stick of butter, whereas everything else is, Land O'Lakes is probably $4.50 where I live for the box. So here's what it looks like. This is after I'd cut into it a few times. Give it a try. Yeah, so the last 4 that I had were like a little bit extra flavorful. This is milder and probably just as creamy. Now after trying those last few, I think I might be converted to the grass-fed butter. I'm not liking this one as much as that one from New Zealand, or as much as the Kerrygold. I'm gonna put this President back. I do really like this. This is what we've been using, just on toast, things like that. Next, I am going to go to Trader Joe's cultured butter, imported from Brittany, France. And this is the one that I went to Trader Joe's for when I ended up with the New Zealand butter. Give this one a try here. Okay. This is the most different. This is a cultured butter, which I learned has enzymes in it to give it different flavor. It's got more salt than the President butter did, and it's got like like kind of a zip to it. I'd say it's probably equal with the President butter. They're both pretty good. I mean, it's butter. You know, I don't want anybody to think I'm like talking trash on any of these butters here, because I would eat all of them. And you're probably not going to be eating them just alone. Our last butter, this is my go-to butter for spreading on bread, or just like my everyday, I don't bake with it or anything, but my everyday go-to butter, and that is Plugra salted extra creamy. I saved this for last because I'm interested to see how it stacks up to everything else that I've already tasted. I get this at the fresh market. Sometimes you can find it at Whole Foods, although Whole Foods has just been having the unsalted version. So I'm gonna open this up. This is like a very white color compared to the rest of what I've tried here. This is the New Zealand grass-fed, and this is the Plugra. You can see the color difference there. There's a little bit of shadow, so even if I do them opposite like this, you can still tell, like, big time. This one is much more yellow, much darker. The Plugra is much lighter. I'm expecting it to be a more mild taste. We'll see about the salt content. Yeah, okay. 100% the creamiest. It's not the saltiest, and it's not the least salty. And it is absolutely the least offensive tasting butter here. I mean, it is like, this stuff is so good. I wanted to see, I didn't do a blind taste test, so maybe in the future I'll do a blind taste test and see. But I wanted to eat this last because I know that this is my go-to butter, and this is going to stay my go-to butter. If you find this in the store, the Plugra salted, I get it at the fresh market. That's definitely my favorite of these butters. All right, well, I appreciate you watching me eat 10 butters. I hope you learned something here today. If you like this video, let me know. I feel like there's 100 other types of butters out there. I could try unsalted butter next time. I'm not going to try any bullshit margarine ever. I wouldn't feed it to a dog. It's not food. I wouldn't give it to anybody, and I wouldn't feed it to anybody. So I'm not going to eat it, and so I'm not going to try that. But if there are other butter brands that you like that I should try that you think stack up, are there any of the butters here that I tried today that you really love and you want to advocate for? I think that, like I said, a lot of these like really surprised me. The Irish butters, the grass-fed Irish butters really surprised me. The organic butter from Aldi, which was at a really good price point. I think that I paid $4.49 for the organic butter from Aldi, and that's about the same price as Land O'Lakes non-organic, and I thought that the organic Aldi butter was better than the plain Land O'Lakes. I would say that my top butter from each category was the Simply Nature organic salted butter from just like the standard American types of butter, and then the New Zealand salted grass-fed butter won the grass-fed category, and then the extra creamy European style butter Plugra won. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below. You have no idea how much it helps small YouTubers when you subscribe to their channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.